Good morning, video games. Welcome to Filthy Casuals, a podcast about video games hosted by two very kind and extremely knowledgeable boys. Thank you very much for joining us for another year. My name is Tommy Daslow, and joining me as always for, well, the second time in 2026.
That's right, yes. Ben Vanel here. We did pre-record our anticipated Games of the Year episode.
Yep.
So this is officially the first time we're back in the studio.
Yep.
This is my studio. I live in the studio. I've got a little chair over there, the cuck chair.
Yep.
Which people don't know this, but we put Adam Knox in that chair.
Yes.
He's off camera and he just has to watch us do the podcast.
That was part of the discussion off the air when he left the pod. It was like, I only want to leave the microphones.
Yes.
I still want to be in the room while you guys do it. I just want to be watching and observing. Blindfolded, ball gag in the mouth, butt plug inserted.
Yes.
Just kind of watching you guys do it.
Yeah. And it's very nice to have such a dedicated audience member in the room with us.
Yeah, it's a shame to not have him on mic.
Yeah.
You have to imagine he'd have some funny stuff to say.
I assume
about, you know, some of the stuff that we're doing to each other.
Yes. But
I do like the idea of you just saying, like, just a chair being in a room and you going, that's the cuck chair.
That is a cuck chair.
I think there does need to be a bed in the room for it. Like, you can't just, like, walk into IKEA and be like, what is this, cuck chair central?
Oh, okay, I'll stop doing that then.
A chair in a living room isn't a cuck chair, right?
Yeah.
For it to be a cuck chair, there has to be a bed in the room.
Oh, I mean, this
Not
is...
to be so binary about it.
Because what we're doing is a performance. You know,
Fair,
it feels like
yeah.
having someone sitting in the corner watching on, not participating.
Yeah.
It's a little... That's how I view all audiences of all live shows.
Do you think that if you are a cuck,
Yes.
like if you were a cuck, hypothetically, by the way, I found out, someone told me that someone that we know,
Yes.
not you and I, but me and this person,
Sure.
is now in a situation with their partner where they've opened it up and they've realised that they enjoy being a cuck.
Oh, they enjoy. Okay.
And
good for them.
It feels to me like a weird thing to know about someone.
Yeah, it is.
Because they didn't tell me directly, and I now know it about them. And I have to assume if their partner is talking about it, that means that they're okay with it being out there.
I guess.
But it still is, it feels like a weird thing to know about someone that you're then going to see without them having brought it up to you.
It is. You're just realising how gossip is bad. After nigh on 40 years of being on this earth.
That's a fair point. It does feel like a very hyper-specified version of it, though. But, like...
Yeah.
I think if you're a cuck, if you're into cucking, do you think you enjoy the fact that it's like now very much in the zeitgeist? That it is that it is really out there as like not even so much a punchline, but it's definitely a thing that gets talked about way more than it did even like 5 years ago.
Yes.
Do you think you're into that side of it, or do you think it's like a little bit annoying that it's like this used to be
gone mainstream?
This used to be exactly. This used to be my little thing, and now it's like kind of turned into a bit of a punchline.
Cucking is sold out, man.
I mean, you see stuff on Instagram of like someone will post a photo of a hotel room, and it's like, look at the little cuck chair in the corner there, and it's like, I don't know, I think it's nice when the hotel room has an option for you to sit on something that's not the bed.
Yeah.
I like having a chair to sit in and read a book.
Yeah, no, this is all fair. And I do think, because I feel like, man, if foot fetishes only became mainstream in the past year,
yes,
I think they would have much less of a negative stigma, because cucking, it's like... Okay, there's there literally is a sort of power imbalance. You know, there's things that you could view. If you were a mean person, there's things you could make fun of about it.
Of course.
But I feel like the era we're in, it rising to prominence, it's like it's getting the best entry into culture it could possibly get.
That's fair.
There's a lot more acceptance around.
A big part of it too is the fact that there's, to my knowledge, at this point in time, I feel like the foot fetish community got given a massive disservice by having Quentin Tarantino as such a public-facing proponent of the foot fetish. It being tied to a guy that people all agree is like a little bit of a weird dude.
Yeah.
Artistically, you know, incredible output. but as a guy, people are like, it must feel like, oh, great, this is the spokesman.
Yeah,
To my knowledge, there's no famous cuck out there who's, you know what I mean? Who's like bringing down the brand for the rest of them.
Absolutely.
If Jimmy Fallon came out and was like, I love being cucked, it'd be like the people that are in it would be like, oh, God damn it, this is the guy?
Yes, and if he brought it up like within his output every now and then, it'd be like, oh, God, he's fucking done it again.
He's wedging it into every interview with like Dua Lipa and
yes.
Jacob Elordi, just kind of trying to get a mention of him loving being cucked by his wife in there. Yeah. I mean, maybe there is a famous... a notable cuck out there. We might have listeners of this show that are really into cucking.
That's why I'm not making fun of it.
Yeah.
It's just an observation.
Yeah.
I have a chair.
Let us know. I would love to know. You can do it anonymously.
Yes.
Send an anonymous email. We won't out you. I just would love to know if you feel comfortable touching base with us.
Yes.
I just want to know if we have at least one listener who is actively... Not just like, you like it happened once and like a drunken night of experimentation with your partner like 15 years ago.
Okay.
I mean, it's an active part of your life.
Yes.
It's a consistent part of your lifestyle.
I'm going to say if it did happen once drunkenly 15 years ago, please do still get in touch with me. And
just get in touch with us and let us know what sex feels like.
What a way to start the year, Tommy.
What a way to start the year. And I messaged you last night with a suggestion of a time. You suggested a slightly later time, which I was fine with. But I think we both forgot that after not seeing each other for 3 weeks, there's going to be at least an hour of bullshitting before we start recording.
Yeah. We met up at midday and we just started recording at about 5 p.m. So it's been a solid catch up. But there is a bunch of stuff to talk about.
Yes.
Video games wise. We did, for us about 3-4 weeks ago, we ran through 20 odd upcoming games.
Yep.
There have been a few more come across my desk, and there's been a bunch of news over the holidays too. Where do you want to start? I mean, in about 2 weeks now, the Xbox Developer Direct, whatever they call it, is happening, and Matt Booty, the king of the cucks, he's got to be
the ass man.
He's come out and said, yes, we'll be talking about Fable 4.
Yep.
A lot of people... I mean, I've been kind of listening to a lot of other people's, preview podcasts and... I'm allowed to...
You should only...
I'm allowed to play the field.
You should only listen to the podcast that you do.
Well, I do agree with a lot of the opinions that they say on that podcast. No, there's been a few people speculating that Fable will not get released, that it will be another one of Microsoft's casualties.
Yep.
So I think, but possibly there was a little bit of motivation externally for Microsoft to actually come out and be like, no, it's a game.
It's actually coming out.
It's coming out.
So that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, and I was a big fan of the first couple, at least. I don't know if you ever played any Peter Molyneux games.
I don't think that I ever have.
But I was a big fan. I loved Black and White, which was that game where it was like the Tamagotchi mixed with like a real-time strategy, like city builder kind of game, which had, for the time, like groundbreaking AI.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like a pet. It's like, it'll respond to, like, you'd pat it with the mouse and shit like that.
It just still is awesome to me that in this era of AI dominating so much conversation, especially creatively, that in video games it's been something that has been being talked about for like 30 years.
Yeah.
Often as a good thing.
Yes, absolutely.
Like the idea of, I remember it was always a thing in games around like the mid-2000s era of like, if the enemy AI was really bad, it was a thing that would like bring it down several notches. And those first games that had like enemies where it really did feel like an actual person was kind of, on the other side of the, arena or whatever.
Yeah.
But it being like, we need to make AI get as good as possible so the video games can feel more immersive. And then now every conversation is like, AI is evil, and when it's used in video games, it's bad.
Yeah, 100%. And like, of course, when it is like, AI is going to take every truck driver's job in the world, that's bad.
Yeah.
But it is it's like a weird, delicate balance. I guess generative AI is the thing that people are against. Whereas that kind of AI, it's programmed, it's restricted, it's within the game loop.
Yeah. But arguably, people worried about it, the effects that this will have on the world as AI takes over. But truly, training an AI to be able to effectively stalk and kill you in a video game as it's inhabiting the mind of a Russian spy.
Yes.
I mean, that's more dangerous. That's literally we're training it to kill.
Yeah. All it has to do is break free and we're done for.
Yeah.
We're absolutely done for. But yeah, I liked his games. They were always, I think, the ideas were better than the execution. I think that was the criticism. But I think Fable was always executed pretty well. The first one especially, it's a little bit more of a cartoony role-playing fantasy game rather than your drab, Skyrims or whatever. There was humor in it. They all had British accents. Fucking sick.
Lovely. Chubby.
Of course, Richard Ayoade is, I think, narrating the game, if not just the trailers. Who knows?
That's literally the only thing I can remember from this game is him being in that last trailer that we saw at E3 or in some Xbox presentation.
Yeah. There was another trailer. I've just remembered this one where you were you were in a giant's kitchen and you were jumping around and...
Yeah, isn't that the same one?
Maybe it is, yeah. Because it was actual gameplay.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the same one. But, yeah, I feel like every time Xbox comes up, it feels like the next thing they're doing is the make or break thing. And certainly this developer direct, they've got Forza Horizon 6, which kind of... should be, a slam
I'm pumped to see more of this. I think we talked about it last week, but driving around Japan.
Yes.
I can think of two little cunnies who are getting quite the red rocket over the concept of this.
Absolutely. I am pumped for that. And yeah, Fable's more the will they pull it off? But I want to see some other shit in that direct.
Yes.
They need to have more games.
Feels like a bit of a make or break year for Microsoft.
Yes.
/Xbox.
Yeah. And it is their 25th anniversary.
Is it really?
Yeah. I don't know which one that is. Silver?
Silver.
Paper?
Bronze, wood, paper, 4 dozen studio closures. I think it might be that one.
I
think on the 25th anniversary,
I think you're right.
You call your wife and you're like, all right, well, it took a lot. I honestly never thought we'd make it this far. And I kind of wish we hadn't because it was a lot of work for me to acquire and then shut down 48 different studios.
I mean, yes, it's nice to celebrate our love, but we did crush the dreams of, 1,200 people.
Yeah.
Worth it, though.
Yeah, but that's...
love the misso.
I mean, any happiness on one side is creating a bit of... Someone in the street sees you who's just recently gone through a breakup. They see you holding hands or smooching your sweetie.
Yeah.
And all it can do is remind them of what they don't have.
Yes.
So in a sense, the cost of anyone's happiness is...
someone else's unhappiness.
Someone else's unhappiness.
And that's what the podcast is going to be about this year. More of a philosophical take on, the swings... We'll call it swings and roundabouts.
I think so. Yeah.
I feel like they need to take a big swing at solidifying that they will have hardware in the future. What that is, who knows? I think Asus has announced another PC of theirs, not Xbox branded, but it's like a Asus ROG PC.
Oh yeah.
So again, that could be the thing that we see, the Asus ROG Xbox PC. But I'm very curious to see what they do in this direct.
Yes, me too.
It's rather than just being like, what good games are going to come out from Sony? It's this is like fucking, are you going to pull your pants up?
Ooh.
And start getting spanked.
There was also a bit of a presentation about a game called Romeo is a Dead Man.
Yes.
And this looks pretty trippy. This is out soon, or a demo is out soon, I think.
Yeah, this is from Suda51.
Yep.
Who, have always, I've never really vibed with the gameplay, but the sort of experimentation with the format and, interesting art and... I guess a sense of humor that, again, is never really...
I think I feel the same way.
Yeah.
In theory, I like that they exist. Those No More Heroes games.
Yeah.
I like reading what he has to say about things. I like his philosophies, and I like how out of the box he is. But then anytime I see a clip of No More Heroes, I think this looks like shit.
Yeah. Which I did not think when I saw the clip for Romeo Must Die?
No, Romeo is a Dead Man.
Yeah, Romeo Must Die, I think, is a Jet Li film.
It is. Is this the sequel, perhaps?
I think it might be.
The first one's Romeo Must Die.
Yes.
But then this one, it's saying Romeo is a dead man. So it's happened.
Oh, yes.
So in between the two films...
He's died.
Romeo died.
He's died. But yeah, the concept sounds really interesting. It's like you are Romeo, who's like this fucking crazy off the wall motherfucker.
Yep.
You are seconds away from dying, and then like the universe, like time freezes, all this weird shit starts happening, and you become like a bounty hunter for like the time cops or something.
Yep.
And yeah, the gameplay, it's like very action heavy, very like Devil May Cry, Bayonetta looking sort of stuff. Mm-hmm. And yeah, the visual style of this is much more to my taste.
Yeah. There's a great quote here. On top of all the different skills that are available to use, there's also one of the most important combat-related elements, the bastards.
Oh, yeah.
This is basically the crafting type aspect of Romeo as a Dead Man, where you basically do zombie crafting, and we've put a whole bunch of different bastards into the game. You can carry up to 4 bastards with you at once. Personally, I've got a specific set of 4 bastards that I usually use, but I've seen some people do really cool shit with certain combinations. That's got me excited.
I mean, I'm getting a fat bastard. Don't think I'm not getting a fat bastard.
Yeah.
But yeah, that as well, that sort of like the little companion, like critters almost. Yeah, sounds cool. I'm keen for that. And then there was another one, I forget what it's called, but it's from the...
End of Abyss.
Yeah, End of Abyss. It's from some of the other Little Nightmares developers that didn't make Reanimal, I guess. And yeah, I think this is an interesting approach. So it's like an isometric game, art style kind of reminiscent of Little Nightmares. Yep. Sort of the I don't know how to describe it. The atmosphere is very dark and sort of horror adjacent, but the setting
gothic?
is like a little gothic. But then the setting is, I think, more sci-fi. It's like you're like the engineer with a team of space marines, and shit's gone wrong on the whatever you're in. Space station or whatever.
Yep.
And yeah, it's a Metroidvania.
Yeah, it seems cool. It's like twin stick controls, so one for movement, one for aiming. Yeah,
sort of an isometric view rather than that diorama kind of view that Little Nightmares had. And then a bit of horror, a bit of Metroidvania from these Tim Burton ass motherfuckers.
Oh yeah.
Which I don't think we talked about last week. I'm keen for this as well.
Yeah. We've also got The Blood of Dawnwalker.
So this, I think we did mention, and neither of us knew what the fuck it was.
Yep.
Because it is a big AAA game, but the sort of gimmick here is like you're under attack from vampires, which is very innovative, and you have to survive them. No, it's like a big RPG, and like some vampires have, what have they done? They've kidnapped your miso, or they're gonna fuck you all up.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, they love doing that.
Yeah,
they're gonna fuck you up within 30 days.
You're not gonna see a vampire game where it's like, well, the vampires are on the Epstein list, so of course they have to die. Yes.
Or just like they're all fine. They're all just kind of,
just a difference of opinion.
Chill. Yeah. And we can respect that.
They wished me Happy New Year on the 15th of Jan, and I don't know, I'm not with it.
Nah. Bridget wished someone Happy New Year on like New Year's Eve, and I was like, hey, it's not New Year's yet. It's like,
before pre-countdown. Yeah. Huh. Yeah. Well, that's all right.
I don't know.
Did she think she wasn't going to see them after the countdown?
Yeah, I think it was a stranger we'd like, interacted with in the street.
Do you want to know what I was doing for the countdown this year?
I'd love to know.
Watching Austin Powers in Goldmember.
I mean, Shrek 5's coming out this year.
It is.
I hope that gives Mike the juice to make Austin Powers 4.
It does seem crazy that, we've not gotten one yet.
I know.
It is a drag, though. It feels like every 6 months we go on a little run where we watch Austin Powers 1, and then we're like, well, now we got to watch Austin Powers 2. And it's so good. And then you're on a roll, and I get excited. I'm like, there's a whole other Austin Powers film. And not only that, it's the one I've seen the least.
Yes.
So it'll feel kind of a bit fresher. And every time I get tricked and every time immediately you're like, this is just absolutely not as good.
Yeah.
It's such a drag. I get fooled every time. I'm like, even not expecting it to be as good.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm just watching more Austin Powers. That's still fun.
Yeah.
And it's really not.
Yeah, a lot of the jokes aren't very funny.
Me sliding out of the tunnel and smashing into a pole immediately. Mm-hmm. Great.
Yeah.
Still gets me.
Yes.
But
Fred
everything
Savage
else...
and the mole, I don't like the mole bit.
Yeah, mole's a bit overdone.
And Goldmember himself...
it's fine.
Yeah.
Not really used at all.
Yeah.
The bit with, like, Nathan Lane...
Yeah.
Where he's like miming what she's saying, just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, yeah. But the Japanese twins at the start.
Fuck me.
So obviously, we're excited for Austin Powers 4 potentially existing, and End of Abyss.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there was, I think... Oh, and Blood of Dawnwalker. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I never got to the actual hook.
Oh, yeah.
Is that time moves forwards whenever you, I guess, complete a certain
The
action.
hook is that time moves forwards.
Well, in Romeo is a Dead Man, time doesn't move at all.
Okay. Yeah, you got me there.
Yeah. No, it moves forwards, similar to the Seance of Blake Manor, which is a completely different style of game, but like each action you do progresses the time, rather than it actually flowing in real time. And you have a time limit. I think it's 30 days and 30 nights to like save everyone or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that means it is it's more about these doing runs of this game rather than a 40-hour plus RPG that unfolds at a slower pace. I'm curious to see how that works.
Yeah,
and if it changes sort of the immediacy of what is generally a really slow-paced game.
I feel like that's going to be the new thing. I wish I could remember the title of this. I know this would be very frustrating to listen to, but I sent it to you a little while ago. It's this indie game that I think is maybe coming out this year, and you're a guy. I think you're trying to find your missing daughter. It's very pixel art, isometric view.
Yeah.
And every time you die, I think time moves forward by a year.
Yes,
and so you come back and it's like you're then going through the game in places have closed down or things have sprung up. It seems kind of hard to imagine how it can actually work in practice, but it's a very cool concept.
Yeah, I think it's voxel style, so maybe look up voxel indie game. Time progresses when you die.
Hang on, I'll try and find it. I think I DM'd it to you on Instagram, so I'm going to scroll on up here.
I think you did.
Yeah.
Do not read any of the other DMs. Beavis
and Butthead. Donald Trump's done something. I'm not feeling it.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not feeling good about it.
That's all right. That's okay. Don't worry.
I'm worried though.
We can chuck it in the description.
I want it.
But yeah, that also sounds very cool. I'm trying.
But I feel like that's every now and then there's like there's sort of a new thing, a new premise, a new setting that is just that's just out there in the ether.
Yes.
And for some reason just has ended up tickling a whole bunch of people at the exact same time.
Yeah, yeah.
And the interesting time movement mechanic I think is going to be, we've seen a couple of good examples of it, but I think that feels like that's going to be like the next big one.
Yes, because it is, as with indie games in general, it's like, a hook comes along and then it's like, well, that's a great hook or like a gameplay style. And then there's the one that is sort of like the revisionist version where it flips it on its head. There's the one that puts it in a different setting. There's the one that combines it with another mechanic, which is fine. Like, that's cool. And, we get to the logical end point of that and someone comes up with something new. But, Blueprints having the steps and then Seance of Blake Manor having the time, which kind of are the same thing in practice. But,
Yeah. There's also something you've put down here that I did not know about. Smart Lego.
Oh, yeah. So this is a brand new thing for this year. So Lego has come out with this smart range. I assume it's more expensive, but the bricks have little chips in them. Apparently they're like tiny, smaller than, a little knob on a bit of Lego. And then there's certain like flat bits that have sort of the reactive chips in them and little minifigs, and they do stuff like light up or say a thing.
Yeah,
or
features accelerometers to go with light, sound sensing, a miniature speaker with an onboard synthesizer and wireless charging.
Yeah.
So yeah, because the Mario sets have those little like chips in him where you put him in, you touch him onto different parts of the set, like in the warp pipe, it'll make that noise.
Yeah.
On the coin block,
yes.
and it makes that noise, and he interacts with the little characters around it. So it seems like just more of a evolution of that.
Yeah, rolling it out across all of Lego.
They're putting it in some Star Wars sets, which is
going to go
one of the.
Luke, I am
Lego. I am.
Daddy. Oh yes. Anyway, I just saw that while I was reading games news, and I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that is sick.
Well, yeah. Hopefully they do roll it out across some more things, and I can get a little fucking Star Wars, and they can suck each other off.
So Ben, if it's not too personal of a question, what have you been playing over this glorious summer break?
I'm gonna have to push back there. We need to have some boundaries.
Okay.
And you have to respect that.
Okay.
But I would love to know what you've been playing.
Can I sit in that chair and listen to you describe video games?
Well, I know that there's a game that we've both been playing.
Yep.
It is a demo of a game where the demo carries over. I think you played a bit more than me. I've maybe put in an hour and a half.
You're not too far from the end of it. By the sounds of it. I think it's like, if you just kind of do it at a, standard pace, I think it's like 2 hours.
Okay, yeah.
It's the demo of Dragon Quest VII Reimagined.
Yes.
It's out on all the platforms, and yes, it's the beginning of the game, which we love.
Yes.
It's great to be able to try a little slice of the game. It is also sick then that when the game comes out, if you've played and enjoyed the demo enough to want to get the game, you're just in it. Yeah. You've gotten like the fucking busy work of the tutorial out of the way. So just like the day that it comes out, you know that you're just like, you're fully in the game. Yeah,
it's such a relief. Because, there's been there was a few last year where, and some of them were like Steam Next Fest indie games, but there was a couple of like big games, maybe Hell Is Us, where it was like, you just got to fucking watch all those cutscenes again.
Yeah, it's a bit of a drag. I think especially for something like an RPG where in those first couple of hours, like, you are making enough you do have the option of doing some grinding and starting to do your leveling up, and you are making a bit of progress of like, and it's just it is like mostly busy work. Like you're not really in the bit yet where you can have a ton of freedom of choice.
Yeah, you don't.
So
have
you do just do literally the same stuff again.
Yes.
And also it is nice in this era where we've got a new console out. A lot of stuff is now coming out on Switch 2 as the default, as well as PlayStation 5 and Xbox and PC. I like the idea that you get the opportunity to play a demo on all of those platforms.
Yeah,
mostly to be like, let me just try the Switch 2 version out and see how I feel about the performance of it, and whether that's going to be, whether it feels good enough on here to also be able to justify having it portable, or whether it just feels not up to scratch, and I'd rather... Like, I'm really waiting for that Pragmata demo to come out on Switch, having played it on the Steam Deck.
Yep.
And it being fine. I think it might run a little better. Maybe it's be slightly more optimized for the Switch too, but I'm really keen to have a go at that on there and decide whether that's a worthy sacrifice or whether I'll just get it on the PlayStation 5. But I really feel like with this, there is enough disparity between the versions that it's nice to get the option of just kind of like dipping in and seeing what it's like, rather than having to like, look up side-by-side comparison videos the day it comes out.
And hopefully mitigates a bit of that, people being like, oh, this fucking runs like shit on the Switch 2. It's like, well, yeah, you could have figured that out, and it's you're not getting cheated. Like, you're aware of how it's going to run. And
I know it's a bit more like, manpower to get a demo ready to go, but it does feel like, a bit of a necessity when you've got these bigger, AAA or whatever games coming out on this cross-platform things where, one of them's going to be slightly compromised getting to be able to decide for yourself beforehand. But this is the reimagining of Dragon Quest VII. It is a pretty much ground up redo. I think they've like condensed a lot of story stuff. Apparently it's famously quite bloated.
Like 150 hour full game. Yeah.
So I think they've trimmed a lot of it down, and it's not the HD 2D style, but it's also not a true... It's kind of a weird thing now with the Dragon Quest series where the OCD part of my brain kind of hates how many different versions there are of these games now.
Yeah.
Where you've got the first three are in HD 2D, then you've got the most recent one is basically looks like a 3D game.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got this remake of 7.
Yes.
So sort of coming in the middle of the two of them. And the style itself is sort of somewhere between the two of them where it is isometric, but it's not pixel art. It is it's sort of a almost diorama style look to it.
It does have that depth of field, to the camera.
A little bit like the Link's Awakening remake, but not quite to the same level where I don't think they've deliberately tried to make it look like a little toy box in the way that they did with that. It's still these kind of really nicely realized CG renders of the perfect representation of looking at Akira Toriyama's 2D artwork and what you would imagine that to be if Pixar took it and turned it into a filmed version.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's not quite cell shaded. There's a bit more detail to the models. But then also, you look at the environments and it's a straight line, corner, straight the environment the environmental design hasn't been completely changed.
You can swing the camera around and stuff, but it is still very much it does feel like you've taken a game of that era. I think this is PS1 originally.
Yeah.
So it does feel like you've taken a SNES top-down JRPG and given it just a 3D coat of paint. You can't get right up in there and be have the camera behind the character. But as you may be able to tell by the fact that I got to the end of this demo, I fucking loved it.
Well, so did I. I've been waiting for a Dragon Quest game to really hook me.
Yep.
I think... is 11's the most recent or 12?
I always get this confused. I think it's 11.
That one I liked, but I don't know what it was about it. Probably just when it came out, there was something else I was playing.
Yeah.
Whereas this, perfect timing.
You've got to be really ready, I think, for they are, and who knows if they'll mix it up with whatever the next one is. I doubt it, but they have always stayed very much classic RPGs.
Yes.
They're not really interested in adding any real-time mechanics to the combat or any funky little, Final Fantasy has experimented with going real-time combat and adding little wrinkles in. I think they maybe have slight little things in there, but they really are like the Pokemon games in terms of just you select an attack, then your opponent attacks. There's no you can't hold a button to dodge or do anything like that. It just is. It's real classic. If you're not at the right level to take on an enemy, their attacks just will wipe you out, and you need to go away and just do more grinding to level up, and that's the only way you'll be able to take them on.
Yeah, very having like I said, never really even spent that much time in any of the games, but having played a million Final Fantasy games and all those, even more the other modern ones, your Chrono Triggers. It's just there's attack, there's skills. You learn new skills as your characters upgrade.
Yep.
There's items. You can run away. Bang. That's all you need to know.
That's it.
Then even the story, which I'm enjoying, it's fun and it feels like a throwback because it literally is. It's not reinventing the wheel.
No.
You're a special little guy who's got a couple of friends and there's something interesting and magical happening in your area.
I think they've condensed a lot of the timing of it, but I think the actual broad strokes of, I don't think they've rewritten it or not in a Final Fantasy VII remake kind of way where they've fucked around with a bunch of story elements is the impression that I get.
I think I read that they took out some of the main story bits and made them side quests.
Right.
So they're still in the game, but they've streamlined the main story.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something about it that because I'm a bit the same as you, although I did get really into 11. The HD 2D remakes were a little those games are a little too old school for me. They're missing a little bit of that character.
Yeah.
I talked about it at the time, but in 3, you put together a party and you're just choosing these blank slate kind of characters that have the attributes, but there's no personality to them. They're not like weird little freaks that you're meeting along the way who have some kind of story about why they're joining you.
Yeah. It's like,
you
you're
really
a
have
wizard.
to like
You're a
imagine
fighter.
all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And that kind of kept me at arm's length a little bit. This has just enough of like actual flavor in it. But they do a really good job of just being like very classically quaint in like, I think I read somewhere once that like the idea of them is like you're meant to treat it like a little book that you're reading before bed.
Right.
You do a little hour at the end of the evening. You're meant to really treat them like a little fairy tale, a little fable that you're taking in these little bite-sized chunks. And if you treat it like that, you do like a couple little hours at the end of the evening. It's very like kind of low stakes combat essentially.
Yeah.
Like you get one tutorial match and then you've got it.
Yeah.
It's like within the first hour of what it's shown you how to do, you get it. You know everything.
Yes.
You're not all of a sudden unlocking new things that add new elements or anything like that. And there is something really charming about that.
Yeah.
And it just means that like, it's doing a very simple version of something, but I think it's just doing it so well. And the style and the music, of course, Toriyama's artwork and like the way that that's been translated into this fully 3D art style, like it just is exciting going around these dungeons and like seeing an enemy that you haven't seen before. Yeah. And how like it's like a fucked up little cat that's dressed like a magician.
Yes.
And all these kinds of like freaky designs that he has. It's so exciting uncovering them for the first time. Yeah. I'm super into it. I think they've done this is like such a great example of a remake done really well without completely reinventing it. Yeah. But still doing just enough to make it feel like, I mean, you could play it and feel like so far to me, it doesn't feel like it's a 20-something-year-old game. No. Other than the fact that it's just a very classic style of RPG. But you could put something like that out now where you're just like, we're trying to make an RPG that is just adheres to that style. Yeah, absolutely. And have, maybe a more advanced graphics. Yeah. I think that if it wasn't for the visual, like the interpretation that they've done, but also the character design and all that shit and the music, it may well feel like an uninteresting retread of an old JRPG. Yep. But it doesn't, because it has all that shit. Yeah. And it's all really fucking cool. Like, it's just charming. I just want to spend more time in it. And even though all you do in the demo is there's a couple little story beats that come up that are kind of interesting, and you sort of get up to the point where it's like, all right, now I kind of see what's happening here. Yeah. But it is a lot of like, go here and do this. You don't really get introduced to the combat until quite a fair way into the demo, which I thought was interesting. Yeah. Typically in these games, it's like one of the very first things that happens. Yep. But you do a lot of just like walking around and going from A to B and meeting these characters and seeing these different environments. And it's all just really charming and nice. It looks and runs really nicely on the Switch too, which is nice to know, because I think these games do benefit from the portability. An old style of JRPG. Well, I mean, literally, if you want to play it like you're reading a bedtime story, it's the perfect setup. Exactly. Yeah. I just love how it looks, and I played that. I think just the demo of Sandland, which was the other Toriyama adaptation. It was a couple of years ago now, which I love the character design, love the world. Like, I read the manga, but the game was just kind of shit. Yeah. And similarly, not to the same extent, I just never got along with a Dragon Quest up until this one. But I wanted to, because I love the style so much. And the fucking little slime guys, I wanted to love the little slime guys. Yeah. And this has given me the in. It is comforting, like the story beats, coming across a village and there being like, oh, there was this, we got attacked by monsters and this one guy stepped up to save the day, but now he's gone. And, just all of that stuff. It's such classic fantasy storytelling. With one of the best to ever do it doing the designs. Absolutely. And it's fascinating to me that it took a long time for this series to really, really catch on in the West, because in Japan it's been massive for such a long time. Yes. I think I'm probably getting the exact details of this wrong, but it's something like the day that a new Dragon Quest was coming out, they knew that kids would wag school, people would take the day off work, so companies would just give people the day off, or they might have even made a public holiday or something. Yeah, I feel like that was... Yeah, I think that we came across that something fact, like that. Something like that speaks to how massive these games are, that when they come out, it is like a GTA in the West level event of like actual shutdown for people. There's a Dragon Quest promotion at McDonald's Japan at the moment where they've got a whole bunch of ads going for some special burgers and stuff they have.
Fuck yeah.
They've made these little it's like a babushka doll thing of the little slimes, and like so there's like 4 of them that stack in each other, and it's like Grimace, Hamburglar, Birdie, like all kind of painted on the little slime design, which is so sick.
Oh man.
And I want one so badly.
Yeah.
If you're in Japan, if you're going to Japan, if you can get me one, please let us
send
know.
them over.
Please let us know.
And just send a burger over too. I'm a little bit peckish.
Yeah.
But it's I'm so glad to be so into this one. When it's out
Feb 20 something, I think. I mean, even I assume that the McDonald's collab is to do sort of with the imminent release of this game.
Yeah.
Which also speaks to the popularity of them, that like this is a re-release. You know, this isn't even like a new one, and there's enough like hype behind it for there to be a fast food collaboration with one of the biggest brands in the world.
Fucking pumped to play this full game. Even if it takes, I guess, I don't know if they've said how long this version is supposed to take, start to finish. And I guess that content is all there, you know, as optional side quests.
They're all notoriously, like, very long.
Yeah.
Even the ones that aren't seen as being too bloated are still, like, I think there's a bit that and I think we talked about this, like, I got to what felt like kind of near a kind of end point of 11.
Right.
And then this thing happens that just kind of like reset. There's always like some big thing, almost like a Resident Evil style. Now we're off in some other bit.
Yeah.
Where you're like, what?
Yeah.
I thought I was getting near the end.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Anyway, great demo. I really recommend checking it out.
Yeah.
It's on everything, I think.
It's on everything.
Yeah.
What else have you been playing, Tommy? I did, I guess, my due diligence. I mentioned in our Game of the Year episodes that I never really got into Clair Obscur.
Oh, yeah.
And was a bit, like, I was happy for it to be winning awards, but I had, you know, some other games that I really, really rated as all-timers last year. And so I was like, okay, I guess I'll give it another crack. And I have. It's still
not doing it for you.
I don't dislike it at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not getting the thing that is elevating it for so many other people.
I think in really broad strokes, it seems like the thing that people loved about it was that it's kind of like Elden Ring turn-based.
Yeah.
Like, you really have to be on your shit.
Yeah.
You have to, it demands so much of you. There is no room for error. Mm-hmm. Like, you need to know when to time your, like, dodges and your jumps and all that rhythmic stuff.
Yep.
And if you're not on that, you just will get crushed.
Yeah,
In the same way of, like, an Elden Ring, you can't really go in just swinging and hope for the best.
Yeah.
I think that it appeals to, like, the same sicko switch in people.
Yeah, yeah.
Is the impression that I've gotten, like, broadly speaking, that's made it really resonate with people in a way that's like so different to most turn-based stuff.
That's true, and I think people have said that the story is really gripping and interesting.
Yeah,
and I it's like intriguing, but it hasn't gotten to me yet. Funnily enough, though, now that it's kind of okay to talk about it more broadly, people have been like, I didn't actually like the big narrative twist that happened, or, you know, the big shift that happens at a certain point. It felt a bit, you know, not cheap, but I've seen a bit of like...
Have you gotten up to that bit?
No.
Right. I thought it was cool. Like, it definitely caught me off guard. I thought it was very, like, unexpected and interesting and just, like, really not a sort of narrative twist that I've really seen in a video game or in too many video games.
Yeah.
So it did work on me. I thought it was very interesting. But I'm still not a ton of the way through it.
Yeah.
I had a pretty weird break, so I was doing a lot of just smooth brain action.
Yes.
I spent a lot of time just fucking around in free roam in Mario Kart World.
Oh, hell yeah.
Because that's all I wanted to do was just fucking drive around.
Yes.
And I say this all the time. A lot of people have their issues with that mode. I fucking love it.
Yeah.
For what it is, I think it's great. Still just kind of like chipping away at those little P switches.
Mm-hmm.
I spent a fair bit of time. I'm near the end of Warioworld, which went up onto the Switch Online at the end of the year. A game I've never really played. I love the Wario games. It's quite hard to track down.
It's a GameCube?
GameCube game. Never had it back in the day. Never been re-released or anything until now. And I'm loving it. It's made by Treasure, who, I don't know if you're familiar with them. They are like they made a couple of like weird, very Japanese like platform games and stuff around that era. So Nintendo kind of handballed this over to them.
Right.
It's the only 3D Wario game they've ever made.
Yes, yeah.
And it, at the time, I think got a little bit of flack for being quite short, which it is, but you're getting it sort of just thrown in for a subscription service that you already have. Yes. So that's not as much of a concern, I don't think, these days in the context that people would be playing it. It's cool. It's got like... So it's very... What's interesting about it is like this is this era where... So it's GameCube. Games have been 3D for like a little bit now, and they're still... The GameCube era is like Nintendo trying to figure out like, okay, well, this is the format of Mario. If we're going to make these other 3D character games, they can't just be the same... They can't just be carbon copies of that.
Yep.
So what's the point of difference? And like Luigi's Mansion also recently went up on there. That's a great example of like... This is completely its own thing.
Yes.
This isn't just a Mario game with a different character in it. And so Warioworld is more, rather than the Mario levels where you're like, you know, exploring these big areas and getting a star and being kicked out and then going back in. Warioworld is more like a kind of Crash Bandicoot, Super Mario 3D World kind of thing of like, it's just a level that you're going from A to B in.
Right.
They're all quite long. And there's a real emphasis on combat. So you get thrown into these arenas where there's like 4 or 5 guys that you're having to beat the shit out of. You've got all these real like wrestling moves that you can pull off, like swinging people around, doing pile drivers, like throwing them into each other. And then dotted on the course of the level, there's these little trapdoors that you go down, and there'll be like a little one-room sort of like puzzle level to get your way through to get a gem. And then when you get to the end of the level, there's a gate, and you'll need like 5 of the gems to open the gate and clear the level.
Right.
And if you haven't gotten enough of them, there's a little thing that'll take you back to the start of the level to kind of, you know, go and look for. Yeah. The trapdoors are always like, they're pretty... You do come across them like pretty organically, but you can every now and then like miss one and then have to go back. It's got this cool thing where you fall off the level and you go into sort of this pit that's basically this weird kind of like underworld thing where these little guys are chasing you and you're losing coins, and there'll be like a spring to get you back up that's hidden in a crate at random that you have to kind of like walk around, and you're like losing coins for every second that you're down there.
Fuck.
It's got so many like neat things about it that it's a shame that they never continued on that track of 3D Wario games, because all of the cool moves about it they've kind of ended up using in other games now. Right. So like the thing of it being these self-contained levels they've done in other stuff. The combat, the idea of it being like having a way more focus on combat than the Mario games is something that they've now done in Donkey Kong Bonanza. Yeah. Like just the way that you're with these guys, like punching is such a big part of this. Even just the collecting gold is such a big part of the Bonanza game. Yeah. It's kind of a shame. Like if they had another crack at a Wario game like this, I don't really know what they would do with it, because now it would feel derivative of like any number of these other games that they've done. Whereas like Luigi's Mansion, they kept making more of them and they refined it. It would be fascinating to see like, maybe Bonanza wouldn't exist because it would, that format would exist as like, that's the 3D Wario games' thing now. But it's fascinating. It's well worth a look. It's very fun. It's quite short. It's got great music. It's got great personality. Wario is just such a fun guy to run around as. All his little vocal lines in it. There's like, if you pick someone up and throw them out of the arena, he'll go, "Have a rotten day."
Fuck.
Yeah, it's fun.
I got to boot this up. And while we're on Nintendo stuff, you mentioned to me before we started recording, there's a new Mario Tennis Fever trailer.
Yeah.
That shows a bit more of the sort of complexity of like the courts and some fun mechanics, different modes, which, we were, I think, still a little...
Yeah, it was a bunch of stuff. There wasn't anything that they hadn't mentioned before, but just a little more, just showing a little more of like... Baby Waluigi is in there for the first time.
Fuck yeah.
And yeah, it looks like... I feel like a lot of the times with the tennis or like any of the Mario sports games... The criticisms are that there's not like quite enough in there.
Yes.
Like they really bank on it just being like, you'll have fun just playing this with someone else on the couch.
Yeah.
And that's it. But this has like all these different weird court modes. There's like a Waluigi pinball court. There's like a forest court where when you hit the ball, it's planting piranha plants, which are then little obstacles for your opponent. There's like a tower mode where it's just kind of throwing into these matches with these like random conditions, kind of like in the Smash Brothers games where it'll be like, oh, there's 3 of you and you have to use this racket and, you know, just all these kinds of just
little
like...
modifier challenges. Yeah.
Then there's the story mode.
Yes.
Then there's just the regular tournament mode. So it does seem like it's pretty stuffed full of stuff from the jump. Because they also, in the Switch era, they did a lot of like, these games come out and they're like pretty bare bones and they just do these like updates. You know, it's 6 months time. It's like... I mean, I think the soccer one launched without many characters and without many arenas.
Yes.
And they sort of added that stuff, but people were just like, I just want to get the game and have all this shit in there.
Yeah. And I got it and I was disappointed and now I don't really want to go back.
I want the DLC. I want the update stuff to be extra fun stuff on top of an already full package.
Yes.
Not just filling in the gaps of what should already be there.
Yeah, and you're fucking Nintendo. You can just wait until it's ready and ship a game that is actually fun for everyone.
Yeah.
Because, I feel
like... But this does feel like it's coming stuffed with, like, a lot of different modes.
Yes.
The Fever Racket stuff sounds like exactly the right level of, like, Mario-ish weird shit that I want in a tennis game where it doesn't feel like it's kind of taking over the match. It basically just is like Mario Kart for tennis, where you charge up this gauge, you hit a shot, and then it might put ice over the court or something like that. It's not like a thing where it like slows down time and makes this shot that the person can't return or whatever.
Right, it stops it from being a tennis game. It just makes it a different kind of Mario multiplayer game.
Yeah, whereas this makes it more arcadey and just silly.
Yeah.
They also made a big point of saying that you can play and just turn the Fever Rackets off and just play regular arcade tennis.
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
I don't know if that was ever an option with the gimmick in the last one. Maybe it was, but I don't think it was.
I think it has been for the last couple, but they always focused on the gimmick and and I think because there wasn't a lot of other content to fuck around with.
Yeah.
It was like, well, I'm not just going to go in and play what it ends up just being an okay arcade tennis game.
Because it's sort of designed around the gimmick, and then when the gimmick isn't there, it just feels like this just doesn't feel as good to play.
Yeah.
But the very first one they ever made sort of has no gimmicks in it, and it's still maybe my favourite one. Still feels great to play on the Switch Online on the N64 version. So I feel like if it just feels like that, a simplified version of it where you turn it off, if you have someone coming around who's not as well versed in wanting to learn the mechanics of it and you just want to play a very simple, like one button, you can use the Joy-Con to swing the racket, Wii Tennis style. I think this is... I think that this feels like it's got a lot of content in it, which I think will be fun to fuck around in all the different modes.
I feel like for the tennis games and the golf games, they... At least with the tennis one, it looks like what they've done is go back to the one that people actually loved.
Yeah.
And go, what if we just made that a bit more modern?
Yeah. There's just not been, for me, a banger tennis one since the 64 one.
Yeah.
Aces nearly got there. I did enjoy it, but it never quite got to that, like, really taking me over level. And this hopefully could do it.
Yeah. I think the game... I never played the original one, but the GameCube one was much more enjoyable, I think, than the more recent ones.
Yeah.
This looks sick. I got the goddamn fever.
I'm trying to think what else I've been playing. I played a fair bit of your mate, Tomb Raider 2013.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Fun.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I wish... I get that it's just a, HD up-resed. It just is the original game. I really wish they had done a little bit more to just take out the number of QuickTime events in it.
Yes.
Because all the rest of it, you go, oh yeah, it's got some sort of clunky setup stuff and a little bit of stuff that's of its time, but I can forgive that. But there just are so many bits where it's like, someone's fucking coming at you with a knife and it's like, quick, press X now, and it's like, you like once that sort of got phased out of games, that sort of response time just kind of like leaves your brain. It's just, it is crazy that was so prevalent in games and just not fun at all. It felt like no one was into it. Every developer got rid of it pretty quickly.
Yep.
It's crazy that it was never a thing where at the time when they were making those games, they were like, this isn't fun. Why is this in here?
Yeah, and I feel like it came about, I don't know what the first sort of introduction of it was, but it was games that were story-focused and didn't really have any other gameplay.
Yeah.
It was Telltale games. It was the Heavy Rains and shit like that, where it's like, there is literally no gameplay really.
Yeah.
But this is just to make this, visual novel feel a bit more like a game. We don't need it in games that have actual gameplay. Right. It just feels like, it's like this is just a waste of time. This is just a cheap padding, basically. Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, that's the only thing about it, and it's in there a lot. And I kind of wish they had have just stripped that out because it's the main thing that makes it feel like you're playing a super old game. But apart from that, very fun game.
Yeah, and I'm really excited for that remake of the first one. And then next year we're getting an actually new fucking Tomb Raider game. What else have I been doing? I've been playing a bit of the Anno series. That is a city building series where it's more like historical settings. The newest one is, I think, Anno 117. It's like a Roman Empire sort of one. But I went back to the previous one because there's like just all the fucking content is out there and all the guides and the forum comments being like, actually, if you you build 3 wheat farms and 1 bakery, that's actually better than doing 1 for. So I got into that and I started fucking around by trying to make my own. That's kind of the next thing. I was making my card combat game and I made it enough of it to be like, cool, I think I've learned how to make a game.
Yep.
And I've dove into a 3D rendered city builder.
Fuck yeah.
And so been doing my research, been going back and playing some old ass games that I played when I was a kid, like Zeus, Master of Olympus.
Maybe it's you who'll be acquired and shuttered by Microsoft by the end of this year.
Fingers crossed.
That's a great goal for the pod for 2026.
Fuck. But
land ourselves in the headlines.
I've given myself like, because the first thing I made was like learn how to make anything from scratch.
Yep.
This is like, I reckon I'll spend a year on this.
Okay.
I reckon I'll spend a year on it. I might, have to pay some people to do some artwork and I'm going to actually try and make it into a game that I would want to, just dump 100 hours of my precious time into. So as part of that, I've been playing a few games that are kind of similar. And the Anno 1800 is the one I've been playing. It's fucking really good.
Sick.
It's awesome. There's a bit of character to it. There's like, I think that the start is like, your father's dead. He was like a big industrialist, but he kind of was a bit of a prick, and he had some issues and some debts. You've come back from like fucking around in the Caribbean or something, and your like debtor is like, hey, go and fucking build a town and use the money you make to pay me back, and then after that you can kind of like go off on your own and do shit. And there's a lot of character interaction and diplomacy and discovering other little civilizations and towns and sailing around. You actually sail, like you're clicking around with a little boat and doing shit. It's fun. It's
sick.
It takes away a lot of the issues that some of them have of like, oh, I've built a bunch of houses and like a little market, but the market guy, he doesn't come past the houses. He goes in the other direction. This, it's like, you just build a market there, you build houses nearby, they're getting food.
Sweet.
So you can kind of focus on some other more interesting, mechanics. But
awesome.
Yeah, been diving into that.
I just remembered a big thing I've been doing this week as well. And I'm surprised that this hasn't made it onto your radar.
Oh, yeah.
Watermelon Game is back, baby.
Yeah. No, I haven't.
Sweaker Game Planet.
Yeah, I haven't gone in on this, but fuck, I'm excited.
It's fun. It is. It's the exact same game, except instead of just going left to right and dropping shit into a little, square
receptacle. Yes.
You've got 360 degrees. You're going around a circle, and you've got kind of like. So you'll drop something, it'll go into the center, but then you've sort of got gravity where your little clump of things will be sort of being pushed down and pulled down in whatever direction you're kind of dropping stuff on. So then you do have to think like, shit, I better get around that other side and start to put some more stuff kind of back up to push it around. It's very simple. It isn't like, it doesn't feel as different as like what you would maybe expect a sequel to feel like, or like it does just feel like a new mode in the first one. But that's good. I mean, it was so flawless as it was, and we're seeing it being replicated a lot. It does, like, the thing of it being kind of like moving around and having like a little bit of gravity to it. It does sort of change. It feels like it's easier to get to that. Like, I think I got a watermelon on like my second go.
Yeah, right.
Which it took me ages in the first one. It does feel like you get a lot less hemmed in by the fact that it's around rather than being like quite flat.
Yep.
I feel like you could really fuck yourself up in that one.
Oh, yeah.
And just sort of never get back because you're just blocked off and you know, something pretty insane has to happen to like throw things to the other side. There's always like a way to kind of get in and get around.
Yeah,
and
right.
Things are kind of floating and orbiting a little bit more. It's got like a little special meter where you build it up if you've done enough, merges in a row, you go into this like super meter thing where as long as you keep doing merges, you're like racking up way more points.
Right.
And there's just a little thing where if you go long enough without merging anything, it ends and you just get that accumulated score. But it's fun.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, it's $5, I think, or something like that.
Beautiful.
Great to have that music back in my life, keeping me awake at night. Really fun. Recommend it if you like the first. Yeah. And if you've never played the first, play the first. It's fucking great. It's just a great little thing to have on a portable device.
Absolutely. We mentioned this last year, and this game, I feel like I think it's doing well, but it really did fall into the like, why'd you release it on like December 5th? Yeah. But Dogpile is so fucking good. And that's what I've been playing in between everything else I've been doing on my break.
That has taken a little bit of the sting out of a new Watermelon game, I have to say. I loved Dogpile, and I feel like it feels like a Watermelon game sequel in that like it adds so many things to it where if you've played enough of that game and you have your strategies and you kind of like... You feel like you've sunk a lot of hours into Watermelon Game. There's all this stuff that Dogpile adds that is like so satisfying.
Yes.
Like I said, just being able to like fuck around with the physics of it and change around the gravity with all your different little things that you're adding onto it so that you can change the tide quite quickly in a way that you can't in the original Watermelon Game.
Yep.
And then this one coming, and then this actual Watermelon Game follow on is just Watermelon Game on a different court. Like it doesn't have the thing of like...
There's no modifiers.
Oh, we've added this stuff on in the way that you would think a sequel would kind of like make it go bigger and better. So it has... I'm still really enjoying it, but yeah, Dogpile to me feels like the true Watermelon Game sequel.
Yes. And hey, if we get more Watermelon games and they involve permanent time ticking forward mechanics... We're in heaven.
That's the ultimate game.
That's the ultimate game.
Well, that's going to do us for another week.
It certainly is.
Thank you for joining us. We will be back next week. That big Animal Crossing update is out at the end of this week. I actually took a little visit back to Palmville Island this week to just sort of check in and see how things were doing and reacquaint myself.
I started a brand new save.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to all the different stuff being added to it. Looking forward to the bumped up resolution.
Yes.
It'll be interesting to see if this is like, if this lands Animal Crossing back on the map for people.
Yeah. I think it will. I think enough of the games journalists will be talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a fair bit of new stuff in there. And, I mean, it looks and runs great on the Switch too, the original, like the unpatched version. So, I'm excited to I've started brand new. I showed Bridget the game.
Oh, yeah.
She has gone very hard on this mobile game called Township.
Oh, yeah.
Which is very similar, but I don't think you're like a little guy walking around. It's more like a city builder, but you're just kind of like adding stuff and moving shit and full of mini games and stuff. And she was like, yeah, this is cool, but I'm going to keep playing Township.
Okay.
So I'm going to dive back in, start the town from scratch, and have a go at this patch.
We'll be chatting about that next week, among other things, I'm sure. Get onto the Patreon, where we talk movies and TV shows. We'll be wrapping up Pluribus this week.
Yes. All of our, for us, summer viewing. Some Oscar contenders, some fun little TV shows, and lots to catch up on this week.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you back here next week. And as we say here at the end of every episode of Filthy Casuals, time has advanced 1 hour.